Dave Ramsey has been hit with a massive lawsuit. I don't know if you guys know about Dave Ramsey or not, but Dave Ramsey is a well-respected, well-known financial influencer. Dave Ramsey Solutions, I believe that's the name of his company. And Dave has been hit with a pretty massive lawsuit. Dave Ramsey's own fans actually have sued him for about $150 million. I'm going to talk about this lawsuit and kind of give you some nuances of this whole influencer space. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day under the B1 condition. B1 means not only that we're Black first, it also means that we believe that we can put our people at the top of the pile economically. We believe that B1 people can be the most economically intelligent group of people on the planet. We want to put our kids ahead of the curve. We want to break generational curses. If you agree with this philosophy, put a B1 in the chat. Shout out your city. Let me know your city you're from. Arterio from Dallas, Jermaine from Camden, Cynthia from Flint, Michigan, Zeus out of Phoenix. Dr. Lene Javette lives in Phoenix. So good to see everybody. Good morning, or good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are around the world. All right, so I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Give me a yes or no. How many of you have heard of an influencer by the name of Dave Ramsey? Has anybody ever heard of Dave Ramsey from Ramsey Solutions? Dave is a financial influencer who has a pretty massive following. Dave is pretty well known, all throughout the world. Dave is a guy who I think gives us, sound financial advice. He's more so Christian, conservative, kind of direct. He's a pretty powerful guy in this space. He's very good at what he does, and I actually like Dave Ramsey and the way he kind of does his work. He's been around for a really long time, and the respect is there. Now, one thing about Dave, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Dave has been hit with a pretty big lawsuit. It's pretty messy. It's $150 million, and it came from a group of people that claim to be his fans, and they claim that Dave basically led them to buy something that they wouldn't buy, that they bought into some sort of company that helps them to get out of your timeshare deals, and they feel like Dave kind of duped them. They feel that Dave conspired with the company to defraud these customers out of millions and millions of dollars. I know that Dave, from what I read in the report, Dave's company has made maybe about $5 million over the last 5 years from this company. They claim here on CBS that Dave Ramsey, a Christian radio host and personal finance guru, faces a $150 million lawsuit filed by some listeners of his show who allege they were defrauded by a timeshare exit company that advertised on his program. So apparently there are companies that help people get out of timeshare deals. Let me tell you about timeshare deals. The general consensus on buying into timeshare. And first of all, let me ask you all this question. Give me a yes or no. How many of you, have you ever sat through a sales pitch from a timeshare company? Has anybody ever gone through that? Give me a yes if you remember that experience, and describe maybe in one word what it was like. Like give me a yes, or give me a word to describe that feeling. I'm gonna use some words that come to mind to describe how I felt sitting through a timeshare pitch when they were pitching these timeshares. My first thought was, damn, like they're really good at selling. But then my second thought was, come on, man, like let me leave, right? I don't know if anybody is pressure. That's a good word, Shamika. Pressure. Jamal says trash. Yeah, Micah says pain. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but whenever I see, whenever I go to a hotel, whenever me and my wife go on vacation, and we see the little timeshare people, uh, I get real. I just get real. I get anxiety. I'm like, I feel like I'm walking towards somebody that has COVID or something. I need to socially distance from you because you're gonna basically suck me in because you've studied me like a lab rat. You understand human psychology at a microscopic level, so you know how to approach me. Hey, you need help? Hey, what, you're looking for something? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for my room. And oh, well, how long are you gonna be here? Oh, wait. Why you want to know how long I'm gonna be here? I gotta go. Right. So basically, these timeshare people, they just, it's like they're the best and the worst. And why do I say they're the best and the worst? They're the best because, man, they know how to sell. Good Lord Jesus. If you ever want to learn how to sell, go get training from the timeshare people. but they'll also teach you how to be the biggest butthole on the planet. They will literally teach you how to be, somebody that people run away from. It's almost like MLMs. I don't know if anybody else is involved with MLMs. No disrespect if you are. I'm not dissing MLMs. Some of them are Ponzi schemes. Some of them are legal, but there's a thin line between a Ponzi scheme and a legitimate MLM. And I won't even go into the details, but it's very, very thin. And I'm gonna tell you, if you are that person that has the MLM, don't be upset when most of your friends don't invite you over for dinner. Seriously, because it's sort of this one of these things where selling, I think, has to have some degree of class to it, right? Where you can let people know what you have. And this is just my little 2 cents for anybody that runs a business. I think it's perfectly fine to let people know what you have, right? Even on this platform, you guys know that to fund the Black Business School, we offer things to you, right? But everything is an offer. Everything is totally optional. There's no pressure. It's not like, well, I'm not going to be your friend if you don't buy this from me. And I think that with some of these timeshare people, they take it too far. And then the worst part is that you have a lot of buyer's remorse. You have a lot of people that buy into these timeshare situations and they can't get out. Right. So it's literally almost like the pharmaceutical industry where they make money from you as you're eating horrible food to get sick. And then they make money from you giving you drugs to help you get better after you get sick. Well, in this particular case with this Dave Ramsey lawsuit, that's kind of what I see here. Right? They're making money from you by selling you these terrible timeshare units. Not that Dave was doing this. I'm not saying Dave was doing this. I'm talking about these timeshare companies. So they get people into these timeshare situations with these great sales pitches that lock you into these situations that you don't want to be in. And then they make more money selling you this other service to get you out of the contract. Like, that's crazy, right? It's like you're paying money to get out of jail. So this company that Dave partnered with was one of those get out of jail companies, right? They were one of the companies that came across and said, "We can help you get out of your timeshare deal. Just pay us money, and we'll go fix it." Right. So I'm going to say this before I dive more deeply into the story. My recommendation is that if you don't want to have to get out of something, then think carefully about going into it. Don't ever let anybody pressure you into making a move before you're ready to make the move. One time, my sister and I sat through a timeshare presentation. I kid you not, and the guy would not let us leave. And it was so frustrating to me that literally we waited until he went back to talk to his boss, and we literally had to sneak out like some runaway slaves. I said, "Come on, Tangy, let's go, let's go, let's go." And I said, "I can't believe this. I'm a 40-something-year-old grown-ass man trying to sneak out the back door because these people won't let me leave. It's terrible." So anyway, let me hop back into this. So as I mentioned earlier, Dave is being sued because he partnered with a company that was supposed to help people get out of these deals, allegedly, according to the lawsuit. And I want to say allegedly because it's really important to make sure you understand that, right? Being sued for fraud does not mean that you committed fraud. Okay, I want to make that clear too. I know that I saw somebody in the chat that said, "Man, I thought Dave was solid." I'm gonna tell you the truth. I still think Dave is solid. I do. I think I've been watching him for years. I like Dave's platform. I just think that generally you can't take financial influencers too seriously, right? You still have to have your own due diligence. You still have to think things through. The power of the financial influencer is that there's a lot of trust. And with that trust, there are people that will come and buy that trust so they can offer something that may not necessarily be the best product. And in a lot of cases, the influencer doesn't really understand everything that's happening after they've told people about the product. But then again, though, there are ways that everyone can and should kind of protect themselves from this. So I don't think Dave was in on it. I don't think Dave was trying to defraud the people that trust him. I don't think Dave was out here saying, "Let's go out here and get this money and go screw these people over." I think that what happened was Dave endorsed the company that on the back end wasn't doing an appropriate job, or at the very least, they have some customers who were very, very unhappy, and there wasn't a lot of recourse for those customers. Like, so for example, if you have a business, one thing that I really recommend you consider doing is have a money back guarantee. Like, some sort of maybe 30-day money back guarantee, no questions asked, no hassle refund policy. That's, in fact, in the Black Business School, we have that. If you email support@theblackbusinessschool.com, we have a no hassle refund policy on anything. If you're not happy, if you walk away with any remorse, like if you don't feel like what we did for you made your life better and made it a good investment for you, then we don't want your money because you don't want those problems, right? So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you have not done it yet. And just speaking of sponsors, we do have a sponsor influencer called MJ West Solutions. And this brother, he's a military brother. He's a veteran. Shout out to all the veterans. And he has an excellent set of fitness training programs to help you really get in shape. I follow him on Instagram. He's really good at what he does. I checked this brother out. I really like him. So feel free. I hope you'll support this Black-owned business. It's mjwest.solutions. That's his website. And I'm going to tell you, this brother's really good at what he does. And also, you guys know I have a new book out called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It's available on Amazon if you want to go take a look. It's a bestseller. Make sure you look at the reviews from all the other customers before you decide to buy. If you like what you see, I hope you'll consider obtaining copies for your family and having your kids read some of it. All right. So anyway, so Dave Ramsey is being sued. I'm going to read some of this lawsuit to you. It says here that the suit was filed in the U.S. District Court in the Western District of Washington. It claims Ramsey received more than $30 million between 2015 and 2021. I said $5 million, so it looks like it's $30 million. That's a lot of money. The company, the Washington State-based company, which now operates as Reed Hine and Associates, allegedly promised to help customers terminate their timeshare contracts, which are notoriously difficult to exit. So that's really right there. I think that's a huge red flag. If you sign a deal and it's hard to get out of the deal, you either want to make sure you take your time before you sign that paper, or just don't sign at all. Don't go into situations that are hard to get out of. It creates a nightmare for you. Reed Hine charged between $4,000 and $72,000 for illusory services, according to the complaint, which alleges customers paid a total of $70 million in fees for people to be released from their timeshares. That's a lot of money, and so it looks like Dave is kind of being sort of looped into this. And one of the things about these lawsuits that's really interesting is that attorneys are funny. Attorneys like to sue anybody with deep pockets who is connected to what happened. And it looks like this company was found to have been doing some things that were unethical. And so anybody that was vouching for them is going to go into the lawsuit. In fact, right now, Shaquille O'Neal is being sued for billions of dollars. Tom Brady is being sued for billions of dollars. These guys are being sued. Why? Well, because they were connected to a company called FTX. FTX was a company that was not necessarily doing its job properly when it came to crypto and protecting its customers. So when FTX went down, they went down with the ship. And in fact, there are dozens of financial influencers on the internet who are being sued for pump and dump schemes, like pumping up the price of a crypto and then selling it when the price got high and letting other people lose their money. There are dozens of influencers that are now being sued for promoting bad cryptos. There's 12,100 fake cryptos that have been wiped out of existence. There were influencers that were promoting these cryptos. Also, there were two financial influencers that were arrested today. Madam President talked about that. If you go to my Instagram, the real Boyce Watkins, Madam President talked about two financial influencers. Both of these were Black women that just got arrested for having, like, I think $2 million worth of cocaine in the floorboards of their house. So one thing I would say to you is, from what I'm seeing here, and I think we can talk about this without necessarily vilifying Dave Ramsey right off the bat, because again, court has to kind of let things to kind of play out, right? I think that the details are more important than just the headline, because attorneys are always going to aim for the headline, and that word fraud can just be a word that makes people automatically have a certain reaction. Because I can tell you that, I'll lay it out and say that I got sued once, and it really upset me. It wasn't fair. We did everything contractually we were supposed to do, but sometimes people sue you just to see how much money they can get. Will Smith said he keeps 8 lawyers on retainer at all times, just because he gets sued for no reason. Literally, Will Smith said he has 8 lawyers on retainer. He spends millions of dollars in legal fees every year, just dealing with lawsuits that come from people that see him as a big target. So don't assume that because the headline looks a certain way, that the lawsuit has merit. I like to see what happened after the fact and then try to sort through who did what. And so what I'm going to say too is, with this influencer space, I encourage you, don't take influencers so seriously, right? They're there. Sometimes they can provide good information, but some of them, they just have big platforms. They don't have any credentials. Some of them don't have any wealth. Some of them don't have any business experience. They just know how to talk well on the internet. And that's something that I think, it doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to them. It just means you should probably like just take it with a grain of salt, right? Like do research, kind of take your time, and just kind of understand the incentives of everybody that's involved in the transaction, and or whatever, right? If they tell you to go buy something, don't buy it just because you trust that influencer. Why do you trust them? Well, because you like them and they have a big platform. That's not enough. Okay. And by the way, if anybody wants to go check out my credentials, my doctorate is in finance from the Ohio State University. You can go look it up. This is not a situation where you're gonna have to search high and low to find my PhD. You can read my dissertation online, find out who I was trained by, what I've done, all that stuff, right? So all that should be made public. And again, I'm not saying that Dave Ramsey did anything wrong. I do think, though, I wonder if this company $30 million is a lot of money, right? So I wonder if this company, just because they offered so much money, led him to go ahead and put his reputation on the line in a way that he probably regrets, right? So anyway, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want to remind everybody that we are going to have the All Black National Convention this year in Atlanta on October 20th. We're going to have a ton of people there. We're going to cover everything from stocks and stock options and crypto, all the way across to relationships and politics. We bring experts from all walks of life, and it's like a big family reunion. So if you'd like to join us at the convention, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. And also, if you'd like to be a vendor at the convention and sell your wares for your business, there's also spaces for vendors, sponsors, anything you want to do. That's the URL. All right, so let me finish up here on this topic. This is really interesting. So Dave Ramsey, the financial influencer. Let's see. It says he's being sued for a lot of money because he's connected to this timeshare exit team company. They shut down in 2021 after they agreed to pay 2.6 million in a settlement over deceptive promises, according to the Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson. So I don't know how this suit's going to play out for Dave. I think that it's one of those things where it's we're learning, right? We're learning about this new phenomenon of the financial influencer. There's a guy named Jake Paul who has this massive following, and it's interesting. It's like a game of cat and mouse, cops and robbers, right? So Jake Paul goes and he tells all of his followers to go buy this crypto, and I guess because a lot of people don't think. Again, I market specifically to a niche on top of a niche, which means I always tell you guys this is for intelligent Black people. Doesn't mean you have to be smart. Doesn't mean you have to be educated. It just means you have to want to be smart. You have to value education. You have to value intelligence. So you guys are more cerebral than most people. You guys are a little bit smarter than most. But a lot of people will just do something because a celebrity told them to do it. I'm very much against that. I'm very much against that. In fact, the Black community is heavily manipulated by celebrities. Every time there is an election, first thing they do is they get on the phone with every rapper they can find, every basketball player they can get, every entertainer in Hollywood they can find, and they tell them, "Hey, tell Black people to do this," and millions of people will do it because their favorite radio show host, their favorite comedian, their favorite basketball player told them to do it. And I'm going to tell you that for Black people is a very dangerous line of thinking, because that's how you get taken. You end up taking a bath. You end up getting your butt kicked because of that. They end up bringing you down with the ship. So with Dave Ramsey's people, what's interesting to me is I don't think this is going to hurt him in terms of credibility with a chunk of his audience, because a lot of his people are not. They believe in things like personal responsibility. Dave Ramsey's audience is more conservative. They're not the types of people who believe that you should be sued because you mentioned a product that happened to have some defects attached to it. I think that most of his audience is going to say, "Hey, look, if they chose to do this, that was their decision." And now at the same time, though, you can't understate the influence a Dave Ramsey has, the amount of trust that he's developed with the audience, and how that trust might play a role in this assumption that he has carefully vetted anything that's come on his platform. And that really is something that he would have to do. And it's tough to do, I imagine, when somebody's putting $30 million on the table. And the bigger lesson is that all money isn't good money either, right? So, I don't know about you guys, but I know $30 million is a lot of money. And the thing about it is, my friend D1, he's a rapper. He's a really smart rapper. He's actually doing a fellowship at Harvard right now. He's one of my best buddies, like a relative. I love this guy. And one thing he said that I thought was really profound was he said, "The devil can bless you too." D said, "The devil can bless you too." And what does that mean? Well, that means that, you know what? You can end up, getting like your biggest payday not by doing the right thing. You get your biggest paydays by doing the wrong thing. You don't get your biggest payday a lot of times from the good people. You get the biggest paydays from the bad people. And so when the devil walks up and tries to bless you with a check bigger than anything you've ever seen in your life, I encourage you to make sure you remember in your life all the things that are more valuable than money. I'm gonna put D1 on the screen just because I love his music. I think everybody should know about him because he's one of the best rappers alive. He's a great guy. He's super smart. But one of the things I would tell you is that all money ain't good money. Y'all have no idea how much money we turn away with our platform. When people see that I have a certain amount of trust with you guys, we do our best. I mean, we don't always get it right. Everybody's going to make a mistake, but we do our best. Like when I find out what people want to do on the platform, I look into it and I say, I don't know if I want to be a part of this. You have no idea how many MLMs have reached out because we've got a powerful network. We reach a lot of people, right? I've had so many people from MLMs saying, "Hey, I'd like to come on your platform and educate people about index universal life policies." I'm like, "Yeah, I bet you would. I bet you would because I know that you're masterful at getting people to do certain things and to take certain action." And I just don't want to be a part of that, so I would say to you that that I don't really think, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't really think that, MLMs are multi-level marketing. That's what it is. I apologize for not explaining that. That's what MLMs are. Multi-level marketing is, it's where you have to recruit other people in order to make money, and then you're making money on your, I think they call it your down cycle or your downwind or your whatever you call it. And so in fact, that's one of the signs, not the only sign, but it's one of the signs of a potential Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme is, wait, pay attention now. This is me putting on my finance professor hat. Whenever you have to recruit other people in order for you to make your money, and get those other people to join your network, that's the sign of a pyramid scheme. That does not mean that it's illegal though, because there's a very thin line. There's like a simple criteria. I think you have to offer a product or something like that. So a lot of companies know how to make sure they skirt that line carefully so they don't get caught in that pyramid scheme category. But honestly, it's kind of the same, and it becomes a pyramid in the sense that 90 something percent of all the people involved don't make any money. But what you do is you sell the dream to everybody in the pyramid so that the 99% are financing massive amounts of wealth for that 1 or 2% that are actually able to do well. And so I'm no disrespect to anybody that's involved in stuff like that. I'm not hating on it. I'm not telling you that it's a bad idea. If it's working for you, then good. But one piece of advice I would give you, when you have that cousin or that friend that tries to get you involved in something, I think a good question would be, to ask would be, show me the money. Show me the money. Like the best way for you to convince me that what you're doing is going to work, that me doing this is going to work, is write me a check. You want my work, you want me to do something for you, write me a big enough check that lets me know that you're putting skin in the game. You're not sort of asking me to go write the first check and then do all the work and then build up whatever you got going on, and then I get left hanging out to dry. Write a damn check. And I say this because when I'm on the other side of that deal, one of the things I do whenever I approach someone about a business partnership, the way I separate myself from the crowd is I say, I want to show you that I believe in this so much that here, I'm going to write a check real quick. Here, I'm going to put up the first 5,000 or the first 10,000 or whatever so we can get this thing going. So you'll know that if this does not work, I'm in it with you. I'm not asking you to do all the work and then I get half the reward. See, I saw that. I knew somebody who had some idea. I see a million ideas. This is just me talking now because I'm just sharing stuff that I see. And I remember there was a guy who had an idea of creating like a media network or something. And he would go to people and say, "Hey, I want you to create content for me on a daily basis and do this, for several months. And then I'm going to go get advertisers. And when I get advertisers for the content, I'll give you half the money." Well, the problem was that he had people come in, they were working for free, creating all this content, and hoping that one day they would get these advertisers, and the advertisers never came. So after 6 months of literally donating about 500 hours of labor to this guy, they not only did not make any money for their labor, but they also lost their content that they created. And so, what I told them when they told me about this is I said, you know what? If he really believed in his network, this is actually a financial theory, by the way. This is not me talking just on common sense. This actually comes from a financial theory that we studied in grad school. There are thousands of research papers, academic research papers written on this. So I'm giving y'all some real heavy game right now. It's called the lemon theory. The lemon theory basically says that if you believe in your idea, then you should be the first one willing to put the money up. Look, pay attention, black people. Do this. We do this. Anybody who comes to you with an idea and they're like, hey, I want you to do all the work, and then I'm gonna collect half the money, and we're gonna go make $1 billion. Well, if you've already got stuff going on that's already making you money, if you've already got a bird in the hand and they're promising you 10 birds in the bush, then you know what? Apply the lemon theory. If you're not sure, if you're like, I don't know, I'm not sure, ask them to do something that shows that if it doesn't work out, they're going to lose. Banks do this too with collateral. They say, okay, you got this great idea. You want us to borrow, loan you 100,000? Okay, put your house up. Put your house up. And you're like, well, I don't want to put my house on the line. I mean, that's crazy. Well, then you must not believe in your idea, because if your idea is so good and you know it's going to work and you're so sure of it, then you should be willing to put your ass on the line. So if you're not willing to do that, then I'm not going to do business with you on that. So if you ever want to separate yourself from the pack, put the skin in the game, do the work first, write the check. Because I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, to be honest with you, I get pitched all the time for business partnerships and ideas. There's so many people, every city I go to, everybody has $1 billion idea. God bless you. I hope that those ideas all come to fruition. But one thing I've learned in my experience as a 51-year-old OG, I've hit OG status, is that there's a massive difference between an idea and an idea that's fully formulated. There's a very big difference between somebody making a baby and raising a baby to the age of 18. There's a big difference between somebody having a spark of inspiration versus somebody having put in 10,000 hours of labor and a ton and hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever it is into developing that thing to fruition. So when people come to me with an idea and they say, Dr. Boyce, you got this big platform, let's partner. I want you to, do this and do that and promote this and promote that. And I'm like, why? Like, why would I do that? I'm good. I'm happy where I am. I don't need any more things to worry about every day. So you know what I'm thinking? I'm like, well, do something. Show me that you're committed to the idea. Where's your skin in the game? Because if you are simply saying, I want to hitch on to what you got going on, but I'm not bringing anything to the table, well, then that's not a good business deal. That's risky. That means that heads you win, tails I lose, right? So ultimately, if you ever want to separate yourself from the pack, put skin in the game. So going back to Dave Ramsey, let's talk about Dave Ramsey. I think that with Ramsey, the bigger challenge is that, I think that obviously some mistakes might have been made. I don't know what their internal vetting process is for who they decide to partner with. I don't think the reputational damage to Ramsey long-term is going to be that terrible. I don't know how this lawsuit's going to end up. $150 million is a lot of money. And I imagine that he's probably going to think more carefully about who he partners with, because that trust factor is important. And when people trust you enough to sign on to something that you recommend, you got to think that through. But you know what? I'd be lying to you if I acted like I never made a mistake. I can tell you there was a person that I thought was doing really good business, and I brought him on the platform, and I regretted it later. I regretted it so badly that not only did I tell him he can never come back, and I told him also we will never partner with you, and also you're not invited to the All Black National Convention, because I don't want anybody to make the mistake of thinking that you and I are friends or that I somehow endorse the little pimp game you got going on. I'm not a fan of that. So this does happen, and sometimes you can't avoid it. So anyway, that's my analysis. That's my best breakdown on Dave Ramsey, and that's what I'm seeing here. By the way, don't forget this podcast can be found on Spotify. If you go to go to your Spotify, look up Boyce Watkins, you'll find the Dr. Boyce breakdown if you want to listen to it in your car. Also, I'd like to give another thanks to one of our Black-owned businesses that sponsored this podcast, Dr. Q's Fresh Breath Club. Dr. Q is a Dr. Quigless. That's his name. Kirk Quigless. He's out of St. Louis. He is a respected dentist, one of the most respected Black dentists in the country. He started an amazing company where he wants Black people to buy their own dental products. And so if you're using Colgate and everything else, I hope you'll consider taking a look at drqsfreshbreathclub.com. Also, he is willing to partner with you. He will let you sell his products and get 20% of the money. You don't have to do any shipping. You don't have to go source the product. All you got to do is find your friends who brush their teeth, which hopefully is everybody, and just let them know about this Black-owned business. So feel free to go take a look at drqsfreshbreathclub.com. All right, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. And if you go to boycewatkins.com, I have plenty of resources on how to build wealth, stuff like that, and a training on how to make money without working. You can go take a look at that. And also, my new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. God bless you. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.